What's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I wanted to talk about an issue that I figure is a bit controversial, which is why I need your guys' thoughts about what is going on in Wizard101 right now. So if you do not already know, since the release of the Nightmare Dungeon, your stats in Wizard101 have changed a lot, especially if you were running a full damage setup before the Nightmare Dungeon was released. For example, I am on my Storm and I made a video about a month ago with my gear setup and how I didn't want to get a bunch of damage jewels because I figured once the Nightmare Dungeon was going to come out, the damage stat cap would be lowered drastically, which is why I ended up going with the setup that had around 240 damage and 51 pierce, which is a really good setup for PvE, but it definitely wasn't anything like the 280 damage that you could have had before the Nightmare Dungeon released. Now, the issue that I have with farming for the new gear right now is that the damage curve in PvE is so low right now that I really do not see a point in farming gear. What I mean by this is right now with my Aeon gear and the Wallaroo gear that came out before the Nightmare, I'm sitting at 238 damage, with the most amount of damage that you can obtain in game right now being 240. I believe the stat cap itself has a hard cap of 255 damage, but that is not obtainable in Wizard101 right now. The highest I have seen is 240, and it is like that for all schools. If you have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to the damage curve, the simplest explanation I have for it is that at 235 damage, there's something called a soft cap, and that essentially means that any damage that you get after 235 is not the same as just getting regular damage from your gear. A good example of this is that if I have 235 damage, and right now I decided that I wanted to take off one of my pierce jewels and add another 11% damage jewel, instead of my damage going up 11%, it would only bring my damage up to about 237. So you can see how much less damage you get once you hit the 235 damage soft cap. And it's really frustrating for me as a PvE player. So like I said earlier, I have 238 damage right now with the Aeon gear and the Wallaroo gear that was released before the Nightmare Dungeon. There's a video on my channel with my current gear setup that I'm running if you want to go and check that out. But like I said, I have 238 damage, and as someone who has always liked to min-max their stats for PvE, and the max amount of damage that you can obtain in Wizard101 right now being 240 damage, it's really frustrating, and it has me in a spot where I really don't know what to do. Like, I can do the raid and upgrade all my gear to level 170, I can farm the Nightmare Dungeon and get all of the Reaver gear from that, but even if I get all of the gear and upgrade everything, the max damage that I can obtain is 240. So essentially, farming the raid and farming the dungeon for only 2 more damage, at that point, it's just really not worth the migraine for me personally. It's just doing all of this work for simply 2 more extra damage just does not seem worth it to me at all. And it just has me in a weird state where I don't even really know what to do in Wizard101 right now. As you all know, we just finished Wallaroo, which is the end of an arc, which means that we are not going to be getting another world until next year, which is understandable. But if we're going to have to wait 2 years to get another world until we can get up to level 180 and get out of this weird damage cap that we have right now, I'm just not really too sure what I should be spending my time doing in Wiz right now. Because as a PvE player, farming just solely does not feel worth it because the upgrade is not really that much more than Aeon. This may just be me feeling this way, but I was really excited for the Nightmare Dungeon to come out and for the raid to come out to be able to farm for the new gear and make new gear sets for my wizard that have the highest damage value. And right now, the time and effort put into farming Wiz just does not seem worth it because I'm only going to be going up 2 extra damage, and I just really don't feel like I should be putting the time and effort into doing just that. I understand what Wizard101 was saying yesterday during their KI live, which was essentially that they did not want to have players just running a bunch of damage jewels. They wanted to have players put stats into other things like shads, like pierce, like resist, really anything other than damage. But it puts us min-maxers in a place where all of the time and resources that you are spending farming on Wizard101 just does not feel worth it because you are not getting that much of a stat boost in return. What are your guys' thoughts about this? Do you feel like farming the new raid and farming the Nightmare Dungeon is worth it for only a couple more damage? Or are you just going to be sticking to your Aeon gear until the new gear comes out in the future? I would love to know your thoughts and discuss everything with you guys. So if you want to have an open discussion about the stat caps, please join my Discord server. I will will have it linked down below, and I would love to chat with you guys to see how you are feeling about this issue, or if this is just a me problem. I guess all in all, it just feels really demoralizing to be putting so much work and effort into Wiz for not that much in return. But yeah guys, that is really gonna be it for me today. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!